There, welcome back. Going to continue on the freeCodeCamp Learn CSS Colors by building a set of colored markers. And we're on step 61 now, so let me just go to that. And so for this marker, we're going to use hex codes for the gradient. So use the linear gradient function to set gradient direction to 180 degrees. So linear dash gradient, and we set the gradient direction, which is the first value, to 180 degrees. And for the first color, we're going to use a hex code. So do a comma to separate that. And then the hex is 55680D. And if I click enter, there we go. And then for the second color argument, we want to use within here another hex code. So we'll do 71F5 3E, like that. And there we go, we can start to see our gradient coming to life now because we've got more than one color. So step 63, that's looking better, but at the bottom edge of the green marker it needs to be darker to add a little more dimension. So we want to then add another hex color, and this will be 116C31. And there we go. Cool. So step 64, so even without the color stops, you might have noticed that the colors for the green marker transition at the same points as the red marker. So the first color at the start, 0%, second color is in the middle, and then the third color is at the end, so 100%. And as you can see, it's mostly green here, which is our sort of that middle color for this one anyway. So in the red CSS rule, remove the color stops, so it's these ones, and essentially that cleans up the code a little bit because it's effectively doing that anyway by default. So you'll see nothing will change here. Those color stops are basically being used regardless. So let's see, if no gradient direction argument is provided, it actually arranges colors from top to bottom, so along the 180 degree line by default. So again, we can actually remove that, and we can remove it from here as well. And you can see nothing's changed on the gradients, and that all passes. So step 66, now you apply a gradient to the blue marker. This time I'm going to use HSL, and so we just want to change the background color to background, like that. Cool. Step 67, use the linear gradient function to pass in the HSL function with values. So 186, we want 76% for saturation and 16 for lightness. There we go. What have I done here? 186, 76, 16. That should be okay. 186 for hue, saturation, and lightness. Obviously we want the linear gradient dash gradient. You might have spotted that before me there. Recording this at the end of a long day, so there we go. Step 68, as the second color argument, pass in the HSL function with the values. So that's going to be this HSL, and we want 223 for hue, 90% for saturation, and 60% for lightness. And there we go. We've got that looking a little nicer. Step 69, and as the third color argument, pass in the HSL function with those properties. So HSL, this is going to be 240 for hue, 56% saturation, and 42% lightness. And there we go. Cool. And finally, step 70. Now that the markers have the correct colors, it's time to build the marker sleeves. Start with the red marker. So inside the red marker, create a new div and call it, give it a class of sleeve. So I'm going to create a div here and close it off. And just for sort of ease of reading, I'm going to put that on the next line. I'm going to put a class of sleeve, like so. And let's check that code. Perfect. Cool. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.